Welcome everyone to 10 weeks course on time series analysis and forecasting. I'll provide essential notes and discussions along with coding help. And this is done using dominantly one book, that is Forecasting Principles and Practice by Rob Hinman. On the left side, I have here George Athanasopoulos. And the other book is Time Series Analysis and Its Applications by Robert Shumway and David Stauffer. My name is Netra Sambamurthy. I promote data science education through Institute of Analytics, USA. In this slide, I'm listing out the various topics that we will cover. Even though there are 13 topics, we will compress it into 10 weeks. So, of course, this week we are talking about getting started. Next week, I will introduce, basics of times, R packages that we'll be using, and the time series graphics. Subsequently, we'll talk about how to decompose, that means parse out to the various components of time series data, and what are the different features of time series data, and what are the different tools, forecaster tools we have, various forecaster tools we have under, for using for solving problems in forecasting situations. And we'll also introduce some intuitive, naive estimates, processes, so that you can understand the advanced methods. That's what judgmental forecast means. And then time series regression models. Okay, because when you have a time series, potentially the series values are not just the components, the standard components of random noise, trend, cycles, and seasons, but also certain factors can differentiate the values in a time series. So regression models are very, very important. So we'll talk about time series regression models. A whole collection of regression models are available. And then we'll talk about exponential smoothing, ARIMA model, which means autoregressive integrated moving average model. That is the ultimate when you don't use the factors yet, but when you use the factors or covariates, then it becomes ARIMA X model. Okay, ARIMA X model. And dynamic regression models, we will attend to some of the forecasting hierarchical and group time series data. So that's what we will cover essentially. And the meeting link is always, https://global.gotomeeting.com, join 758 565061. This is the link I will always be using every week. And this book, by Rob J. Hinman and George Athanasopoulos is available. Technically speaking, it's available in a HTML format in his site, that is vortex.com. And I think I'll have to show that it's coming. I think it is coming in the next slide. vortex.com/FPP3. Okay. And he has his GitHub page also, which is github.com/CRAN-FPP3. And as I said, the meetup is also referred here at the meetup.com as Institute of Analytics USA Data Sciences Technology and Technology events. Keep note of these things, for future references. Okay. So these are some essential information about the book I will be using, the topics that I'll be covering over 10 weeks period. Okay, so let's move to the next slide. So I kind of, whatever I said, that I'm saying it in, in a different way here. We will showcase different time series data and forecasting analysis concepts, and we will explore visual representation and discuss elements of time series. When I say elements, I mean 4 essential elements, which are random noise, or random noise, and trend, seasonal element, and cyclical element. Okay. On top of it, of course, we can use factors also, or covariates. That's what the X variable is all about. So we will use some simple intuitive methods for forecasting and compare with your ideas into more sophisticated forecasting methods. We will talk about and explore and do some little bit of work on exponential smoothing, advanced forecasting methods. I will also bring out ARIMA modeling, SARIMA modeling, and model selection accuracy and analysis of errors in prediction. All these things are very, very important when you go for application. Okay? So that's what we'll cover. The prerequisites, I am expecting that you'll come to the class. You should have some understanding of univariate analysis in statistics and measures of, such as measures of central tendency, mean, median, mode, dispersion, which means range, and interquartile range, and standard deviation variance. Box plot is very fundamental, which also talks about percentiles, quartiles and percentiles, and of course basic regression to appreciate the depth and power of the methods that I will bring it to the class. As I said, the book is fully available here, at this slide, at this link, vortex.com/FPP3. That is really forecasting practices and principles and practice version 3. And and at that page, Professor Rob Hinman gives some introduction, so you can review that also. And here are the topics that I mentioned earlier. Okay, so please do buy a book, book also, to encourage him to do revisions of this great book for the future. I'll be also buying copies. The other book I mentioned is Time Series Analysis and Its Applications with Odd Examples by Robert Shumbe and David Stafford. These are really well-known people in this area, done phenomenal work, and they are considered as distinguished people in the area. So, as I said, this week we are talking about, getting started with, the topics. I will be talking about also, extension of this presentation, various data sets that I will cover, I will use in the course, the R packages, and, some basic statistics. Next week, we will continue with the visualization, R packages, visualization of time series data, talk about autocovariance, autocorrelations, white noise, random walks, and moving averages. Okay, and then following week we'll talk about stationarity, lag operator series, and quite a bit of sophisticated work we'll cover in 4th week, 5th week, 6th week. That's where the moving average models of order Q and autoregressive models of order P, autocorrelation function, partial autocorrelation function. We will discuss all those things and do some great examples as cases. And following week we'll talk about the model quality. How do we determine the goodness of a model using AIC, BIC, archaic information criterion, Bayesian information criterion. Model types, again we'll cover AR, MR models, autoregressive and moving average model, but also ARMA, a combined version of AR, MR, MA models, and then ARIMA, and stationarized, stationarity, implied, stationary applied, ARMA models, and then we will continue that to the more sophistications in the following week, and then we will give in week 7 seasonality forecasting, single, double, triple series, and so on. So finally, SARIMA series and RMAX models, RMAX models. So that's a kind of a variation of the topics being arranged here in a weekly basis. I will be using a few other references. I thought this is a very interesting, very good modern time series analysis, but it's based on Python. So, but I'll take the concepts from there, but then I won't use the Python in this course at all. So remember that. And there is also time series linear regression models in this GitHub site that was referred to me. Okay.